Thank you all for turning off your noisemakers, your cell phones, whatever else. And thank you for joining us in our spiritual time together today. My name is Tamara Williams. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm so grateful for each one of you joining us today, whether online or in the building. Together, we are transforming our world with the power of love in action. I want to take a moment to honor that we are gathering today on the land that was taken from the Tiwa people. I also want to take a moment to honor the many folks who are love in action today, supporting our celebration this morning. Our musical inspiration is Susan Clark, and accompanied by John Talon. Our tech team, Belinda and Cheryl Ray. Our greeters, Doug. Our food angels, the spirit-bound bookstore staff, and everyone else who contributes to making this a very joyful celebration. And Reverend Gil will host our celebration and offer our inspirational message for the day. I have a few announcements. You've already seen them on the screen, also in the email newsletter and in the print bulletin. So these are just reminders, hopefully. Reverend Molly Steele is offering a two-part workshop called Divine Mother, Heavenly Father on Sunday, May 19th, and also on Sunday, May 23rd. More to come, but in the meantime, put those dates in your calendar. And Brian Kurtz is offering 3 sessions of Soul Connection at Will, a workshop for couples, and you'll find more information on the places I mentioned, including our website. The main message I want to communicate to you is about our fundraiser, the Clothing and Good Stuff Exchange, which is next Saturday, May 4th. It's also a potluck, a celebration of spring, and a celebration of community. So bring whatever you want to share for lunch, along with your exchange items. The doors open at 9, and the exchange starts at 10, with the potluck probably around noon. So here's how it works. You bring your exchange items between 9 and 10 o'clock, and then each participant unpacks his stuff, or her stuff, and displays it around the sanctuary and the social hall. And there will be signs up kind of guiding you and directing you about how to do it. A lot of the clothes will be displayed on the backs of the chairs, for example. And it's literally an exchange. So you bring 10 items, and you can take home 10 items. And you leave a donation for what you think is worth to you, and a little bit extra because you love RGCSL and you want us to thrive. So the exchange is a decluttering cleanse in conjunction with the consciousness cleanse that many at RGCSL is doing. It's an amazing, transformative process. And also just a reminder to pick up a copy of the book by Debbie Ford. It's at the bookstore, if you don't have yours already, so you can get in the swing of things with everybody. So thank you, and here's some music.
Just one more thing. There's a choir sign-up sheet in the back of the room, and please sign up. We're going to go for a Juneteenth performance on June 16th, which is also Father's Day. So we've got, I think, 5 rehearsals lined up starting May 20th at 6:30 in the sanctuary. That's a Monday night. So if you're interested, please go back and see the sign up on the sign-up sheet. Okay. And now if you would stand, please, and we're going to, this is kind of a mellow song by Janice Stanfield. And it's called I Am One, I Am One. It's super simple. So I'm going to start it. First, a little intro. I'm just a spoke in the wheel. You sing now. One grain of sand, but it feels so right to be right where I am. One little part of a much bigger plan, and the longer I'm here, the more I understand. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. I'm just one drop of rain that falls from the sky, that runs to a stream in the ocean by and by. And I could do worse than to give myself up on the crest of a wave in this ocean of love. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. We're going to do that chorus again. I am one, you are, we are one, like the rays of the sun, when it's all said and done. I am one, we are one. Nice.
Good morning. Let us take a moment to be in prayer and start off our service. Grateful I am knowing that Spirit is fully present right here, right now, that the one life, the one love, the one activity of God is happening in this place as all of us. It's happening everywhere. And we simply come together today to celebrate that truth, to remind ourselves of our role, to remind is we're called to be about, knowing that there is only perfection to be revealed, only love and only grace to be found as we gather. So I simply know that this time is good and very good, and I allow it to be. Well, I'd like to take a moment to, wait, what happened? Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Let's take a moment and do our vision and mission statement, if we possibly could. That would be great. Do we know what our vision is? Anybody even remember? Yes. We do remember. Okay, that's good. Because you don't? No, I do, but it's not up there yet, and I was trying to be nice. So let's try it without it. Transforming our world with the power of love in action. Okay, so now I want to hear you do it.
Transforming our world with the power of love in action.
In action. And our mission is loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. And there it is. We'll do it all together now. Loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. Thank you so much. So we are not only anchored in what our vision and mission is, but this comes out of who we are as science of mind study people. Called by many names, but it is simply the same source, the same power, the same anchoring. And secondly, we believe that how we view the world, how we think about our world, changes how we perceive our world and how we end up living our lives. And so we pay attention to what we're thinking, what ideas that we are holding in our mind as truths, and whether or not those are really true. And thirdly, we believe that everything is love. Often it looks like a gift of love, and sometimes it looks like a call to love, but it's all love. And finally, each one of us is whole, perfect, and complete, just as we are, right where we are. So, you get to be with that for a moment and know that if you're like me, sometimes the expression of that feels far away. But it's still the fact of who we are, and that's what's coming forth. And we have the opportunity to allow that to express. So, with that, we're grateful that we're all here. Welcome, everybody. Everybody have a good week? Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a couple of people that did. That's good. Okay. It's just all good. Okay. So we'd like to welcome each one of you. If you're online, please be sure and go fill out the little form that says you're new. Type into the chat area so we know that you're here. Bless you and bless all those online. So we're going to take a moment and bless each other. And particularly if you are new, receive this as our special blessing for you. We're going to rub our hands together and send the energy out. Whew. And say, we know who you really are. We know who you really are. You are a divine emanation of the One. You are a divine emanation of the One. We see your love. We see your light. And we are grateful for your presence. Welcome to Rio Grande. Okay, I'm doing all this without my glasses. There we go. Okay. So, I have a reading this morning from Messages from Amma. Anybody familiar with Amma? Yes, the hugging saint. She had a place in Crow Canyon, very close to where I used to live. And this is called Let Us Open Our Hearts. We are not isolated islands. We are connected links in a chain. Each kind word, each smiling face, each good action benefits our neighbor, our community, our nation, and our world. Let us pray and meditate together, and we shall reach the shore of peace, spreading the sweet holy fragrance of love and vibrations of unity and harmony. Tuning our mind to the supreme consciousness, let us open our hearts and chant the words, may everyone, everywhere, be happy. And now, I believe we have some more music.
I believe you're right.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Reverend Gil. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to thank my mother and my name is Susan Clark. My pronouns are she and her. Here's some Eddie Watkins Jr. for you. Sing along whenever you want. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one holy substance flowing in and throughout creation. And right here in this very moment, we are an expression. We are a beloved expression, born of perfection. Let's raise our hands and celebrate, because we know there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. Now what? There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There is only one holy substance flowing in and throughout creation. And right here in this very moment, you are an expression. You are a beloved expression, born of perfection. So raise your hands and celebrate, because you know there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is your life now. That life is perfect. Only one life. That life is our life now. That life is our life now. That life is our life now. One, 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 one. One, 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 one. One, 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 one. Try it. One, 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 one. One, 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 one. One, 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 one. One, 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 one. My life is God's life, and God's life is always perfect. My life and your life, it's all God's life. It's all one life. Yeah. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now, and your life now. And all the pets in the room, it's their life too. There's only one life. It's God's life. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely beautiful and true. Oh, good morning, everyone. My name is Gil Olmstea. I am the spiritual director, and my introduction is that I'm doing the service today. So there you go. My pronouns are he and him, and I am grateful to be here and talk about something kind of interesting that came up this week. Inclusion. What's that? What's that mean? What does it mean to include? Anybody know? All right, I'll ask another question. What does it mean to make things look inclusive? Write a press release. Make it look inclusive, right. We're very intentional about being inclusive. Okay, that could make it look. How can we make it feel inclusive? Being that way. Being open, being inviting, being welcoming, being non-judgmental, being equal, risking. Okay. How can we really be inclusive? How can we really be inclusive? Well, that's kind of what I wanted to think about today, because all that we talked about just a moment ago is true, and particularly when we hit on how can we make it feel inclusive, being open, being all those things. But I'd like to suggest that there's one other piece to making it really inclusive. Doing it on others' terms. Aha, aha. Yeah. So what if we have this really great service on Sunday mornings and we go out and say, hey everybody, we have a great service, we think you'd love it. Come on down. Come join us in this thing that we all like that we do. What if it's not their thing? What if they don't like it? What if they don't understand what we're doing? What if it's too far for them because they don't have transportation, or they just don't want to spend the time and effort to get there? How could we be more inclusive of those people who are outside that circle? And I think for me, the thing is to look at doing it on their terms. What is it that somebody really needs? What do they relate to? What groups do they gravitate towards? And how can we serve there? How can we offer something in that space? I've mentioned to you before, I think that I often worked with a project called the Appalachia Service Project. And it was a service project through the United Methodist Church, which took high school kids primarily into the Appalachia region and worked on particular homes, making them warmer, safer, and drier. Now, Tex Evans was the guy who came up with the idea, if you will. And one of his statements was this: we go to people right where they are, just the way they are, in love. How often do we want to include someone or some group, but they don't quite fit with our idea of how it should be done? I've had this struggle with this for the last couple years, having two teenage who live in a different world and relate to different things and relate to music I do not like with words I think are offensive, themes that I think are not healthy for anyone. And while all that may be true, how do I meet them where they are? Somebody where they are. And I'll go back to Appalachia when, we would walk up to a home and see the piles of garbage thrown out the back door. Is that how I would do it? No. Did it make me feel particularly comfortable? No. But I was there to meet them where they were and to be exactly in their presence. And I remember, I think it was the first home I worked on with the first group I went there with, owned by Willie and Mary. And Willie was out front on the porch, and we were talking, and he asked me a question about something like, where did I live and what I think, and I said, well, I live in California, He said, well, that's how I feel about my home. This is where I live and I love it. And this is my space. This is who I am. This represents me. He didn't say all that, but that's what the idea was. Used to enjoy going to the beach and all those things. He related immediately to the fact that different, but the same feeling, the same thing. He didn't want to leave that house. This house, we were putting a new roof on. We were trying to get some insulation on the inside. We were trying to make it livable in some ways, particularly since he and Mary were getting older, and it was more and more difficult for them to get around. And they had no intention, though, of changing where they were, because that's what they needed. That for them, that's what they wanted. And we could have, as a group, found somewhere where we could build some little houses and invite people like Willie and Mary to come live in them. And guess what would have happened? Tiny homes or whatever they might have been, empty, because no one would come, because it wasn't meeting them where they were. It wasn't meeting their needs where they are. And I think sometimes in spiritual communities we get stuck on the same place. That everything is about doing something the way we think it needs to be done and inviting other people to come and like it. And it's not what do I want to say? It's not malicious. It's not mean. It's not meant to exclude anyone, but it does. It does. And yes, people will be attracted to things that are done. And that is great. And there are ways to do other things that we haven't done before, which invite people, which you see all the time flashing up on the board with women's group and Tai Chi happening and whatever else going on, that there's always different avenues for people to plug into, which may invite someone in that doesn't feel invited into something else. But we still want to ask the question, how can we reach out into our community? How can we express love beyond to those places? One thing, and this I'll go back to my godsons I'm learning, is to not react, but respond. Because sometimes I want to go, what? That's not right. What are you doing? That's just stupid. What are you talking about? Right? Well, that's pretty inclusive. That makes people feel they want to come in, it's warm and it's fuzzy and, no, it doesn't work. Understandably so. Are we willing to do something that isn't as comfortable for us? Or to hear something or to have something expressed more often than we need it to be expressed, but perhaps it helps others. Perhaps it's inviting or inclusive to others. It's as simple as when Marilyn Kirk made sure that we got some cones to go out front to add handicap spaces. Because It's a little annoying that those first 6 or 7 spaces are not available to me, dang it. However, it makes a difference for someone for whom it makes a difference. And so I get to choose to park somewhere else. Many of you get to choose to park somewhere else, whether it's down the way, across the way, or in the back. So we do something that we don't, quote, need to do for us. But when folks come who need that space, it's there. When we have a second service, and many of us who already came to this service and needed those spaces are still parked in them, there's a couple more still left when people start coming for the second service. Well, that's pretty good, right? But we have to make a little bit of a sacrifice. What about how we treat our online community, our virtual community? Do we think about how we run things for them, or do we do it and let them watch us? Just peek in, folks. Hi. And that's not a bad thing. It's just what happens because we get focused. We get focused, and we don't think that way. One of the things, two things. A year ago at conference, CSL conference, we were in a workshop, and they talked about creating your service for people who are not present. Couple that with what I heard here when I first came here, what I've seen and heard in other places. We created this for you. Well, what does that mean if I really create it for people who aren't necessarily here yet? How does that change what it looks like? How does that change what we do? How does that change whether or not we have words up on the screen, or whether or not we sing the same songs, or whether we do something else? It's all got to do with what we're really looking at. So I thought of some things that I think really highlight being inclusive. First one is ask questions. Be curious. Just be interested in whatever it is, whoever it is, wherever they are. Ask questions. And here's a fun one. Don't make assumptions. You ever made this assumption that, so-and-so wouldn't like that because. So I'm not going to ask them to go with me to such and such because they wouldn't like it anyway. Has it ever burned you when you did that? So-and-so comes back to you later and says, why didn't you invite me? Because we made the assumption that for whatever idea we had in our heads about them, whether it was something that or because they said they didn't like a certain kind of thing one time, we decided they didn't like it. Or because we thought they had trouble hearing that they wouldn't enjoy going. We just assumed, based on some label we had, that would be true. Basically, the next one, I said the same thing. Don't decide what others can or are willing to do based on those assumptions, based on ideas. Here's something I recently noticed on airlines. When they talk about the exit row, you ever hear them talk about the exit row? Yeah, and they say you must be 15 years old and you need to be willing to do X, Y, and Z, and they'll come ask the people and the whole thing. Well, one of the other announcements that I've heard is, if you're sitting in an exit row and you don't feel that you want to be there, to have that responsibility to whatever, just let us know you don't need to have a reason. Don't ask people to explain themselves all the time. Why do we have to justify whatever it is? Why do I have to justify that I don't like certain things or I'd prefer not to? Sometimes being curious and really sitting with someone is one thing, but pushing someone to justify themselves does not help. It does not help. So we look for ways to meet people where they are. What do they do? You ever met somebody in a job or something that you had totally no interaction with before, and it was really interesting to find out that they like to go to certain places you never thought, hey, I love to go to those monster truck rallies. Those are cool. I've never been to one. Never thought about it. Where do they go? What part of town do they live in? What stores do they like? What cultural things do they do? Do they like kids? What do they like? And where have they felt excluded? What places or things do they not do because they don't feel welcome? That can tell you a lot. That can tell you a lot. So when we think of people who are not necessarily a part of this community, of RGCSL, is there anything we can do? Is there any service we can offer? Are there any gifts? Any listening? Anything we might be able to provide that would include them or make them feel included? Once again, not to get them here, but to include them. To find a way for them to feel a part. I think that's one of the challenges that we face every day, everywhere. And I'm going to go to kind of that standard place we often go, and that is, how good are we at including ourselves? How good are we at acknowledging ourselves and allowing ourselves to feel a part? We know that it all comes from here. It all comes up. It doesn't come in from out there, it comes up. And in order for someone else to feel included, they have to know that we are comfortable with ourselves. They don't have to know it literally, but they have to feel it. They have to feel that we're coming from a genuine place of holding, of surrounding, of giving love. And so as that love emanates from us, it touches something in them. So I'm going to ask us to take a moment here and get comfortable, get quiet. You're already pretty quiet, so that won't be hard. And just close your eyes. And reflect on these questions. Who could I include that I'm not currently including? Who could I include that I'm not currently including? How could I be, or what could I do to include them? What is it that has stopped me? What is it that has stopped me? Am I afraid of being rejected? Am I afraid of doing it wrong? Am I afraid they don't want to be included? What do I need to understand about myself with regards to being included? What can I learn from this that will help me be inclusive? How can I honor myself by including others? Can I see the possibility of a different world when I include others? So we just take this time of reflection and we carry it right into our time of prayer. And I invite ministers and practitioners to surround the room, to hold that space. And for all of us to hold that space within ourselves. Where we know we are included. We know that there is one. There's one life, and it's God's life, and that life is everyone's life. And so, as Spirit declares that it includes all things, all people, all that we see and hear and touch and feel and experience. We know that inclusion is the natural order of the day, that there is no place where Spirit is excluding or pushing out or denying something, where all things are included into the whole. All people are included into the one. And that whatever we experience with others, we know that it teaches us. It offers us the opportunity to grow. It requires us to become more intentional about our being the expression of Spirit. Being that inclusive expression of Spirit. So I'm knowing right here and right now that each one of us is divinely and perfectly made. Each one of us is divinely and perfectly placed in our life. Each one of us has a divine and perfect purpose to be here. And so as we look at that purpose, we open up to how we share that, where we share that, who we share that with, and the ways in which we offer it. And we look for how we can give the gift of what we've been given. How can we share what we have been given? How can we honor other people? How can we offer ourselves in service and in love in this community, in this state, in this country and beyond? So I'm knowing that as the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living community continues to grow and explore itself and understand its place in the world, that we grow and explore and understand how to include the rest of the world in that. And that as we do that, we become that center, we become that epicenter, we become that place, that community where the love of Spirit is so strong, it cannot be denied.
dear holy other, dear sibling, dear baby, dear patiently waiting, dear sad and confused, dear stuck and abused, dear in love you rope, dear worn out and broke, dear go it alone, dear running from home, dear righteously angry, forsaken by family, dear jaded and quiet, dear tough and defiant. I pray that you're heard, and I pray that this works. I pray if the prayer has been used as a sword against you and your heart, against you and your word, I pray that this prayer is a plowshare of sorts, that it might break you open, it might help you grow. I pray that your body gets all that it needs, and if you don't want healing, I just pray for peace. I pray that your burden gets lighter each day. I pray that mean voice in your head goes away. I pray that you honor the grief as it comes. I pray you can feel all the life in your lungs. I pray that if you go all day being brave, that you can go home, go to bed feeling safe. I pray you're forgiven. I pray you forgive. I pray you set boundaries and openly live. I pray that you feel you are worth never leaving. I pray that you know I will always believe you. For the power, law and order, I pray that you're heard. And I pray that this works. I pray if a prayer has been used as a sword against you and your heart, against you and your word, I pray that this prayer is a plowshare of sorts. I pray, will you pray? Will you pray? Thanks very much, John Talon. Special thanks to Cheryl Ray. If you got here early, you heard Cheryl opening up on some lovely instrumental original music. So thank you, Cheryl.
Indeed, the talent just leaks out. It just gets bigger and bigger all the time around here. So thank you. So let's just take a moment and bless these gifts, knowing that they are truly a symbol of our love in action. This is one of the ways our love in action shows up and allows us to be that space of love and action in the community as a whole. So I bless each gift, I bless each giver, I bless each receiver, and I give thanks. And so it is. Amen. And I'm going to invite Mark to come forward for a special presentation. Here he comes. Mark's now working it out. Here he comes. Oh, there he is.
So I have two things to tell you. One is we announced at the community meeting we've been having a stewardship committee, and that's made up of Gil, myself, Yvette, and Johanna. And I want to let you know that over the course of the last month, we've watched things week by week gradually make progress, and we're back. We're paying funds and doing things. One of the things, I count the money with Nancy every Monday, and we've been watching small as people increase their amounts in small incremental things. It's really, really helping. So there's a couple of you who are sitting here today, I know, who have done that. So thank you. And on behalf of the Stewardship Committee, thanks for making our job easy and really helping us feel that we are moving into a greater sense of prosperity and abundance. So one slightly sad note, but not totally sad, because this person has been a great service to us. So we've had a member of our board step down, and we want to thank that person because before Nancy came on, we had John and Marilyn starting to step up. John, we had no treasurer for a long time, and then John became our treasurer. And have you ever... I was thinking of something earlier, a metaphor. Oh, you're looking through the binoculars and it's all cloudy and you can't really see what you're seeing? Well, what happened is John and Marilyn kept moving the focus and doing whatever. And today we have clarity. We know exactly where we stand. There's a couple small things to work out, but we know where we stand. And John and Marilyn started that process before Nancy came on. John spent... gazillion hours here in the office helping us do that. So we're going to have John, Marilyn said we had to make this brief because we can't embarrass John. So we're going to do that. But Nancy's going to give some flowers to you too, because you guys came so often as a team. But John, we need you to come up. And I'm going to tell you, John, ahead of time, there's supposed to be a gift in this card. The board pitched together to get you a nice gift, and we'll be getting that gift to you sometime this week. Okay.
We have to wait for it till it's approved on Tuesday. Is that what it is? No.
So
no.
John has left the board as of last week after a year plus of service, and again, we are where we're at financially with the clarity in great measure thanks to John's help. So, John, flowers.
Thank you much.
Yes. A card and a gift that will appear. Yes.
It will appear.
Yeah. Your spiritual director has to remember to put it in his pocket when he comes to church in the morning.
It's my fault.
So, thank you all very much. Thank you, John.
Another round of applause for our hardworking board members, each one of them as they... And just to know that, this cycling on and off is necessary for everyone's sanity. So we understand the process. So thank you all for being here. What a great and wonderful morning. It's been enjoyable, wonderful music, wonderful folks. We want to invite everyone to stop by the prayer garden. There will be practitioners there ready to pray for you, which translated means they're waiting for you to come to tell them what they need to pray about for themselves. So come on by and take advantage of that. Also, through the kitchen on the other side is where we will have our community time and some refreshments and a little reminder that you too can bring something to share with everyone on a Sunday morning. There isn't a special club. There's no entrance required. Everyone can participate. So thank you for that. Inclusive. Right? We include everyone. And I think we're going to have our closing song. Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right.
I'd just like for you to stand up if you're able. And we're going to go out with a little Bob Marley. And so you guys, I didn't put all the words up here. You're going to kind of be our backup singers, right? But you can sing whenever you want, all right? I think you've probably heard this before, right? Let's get together and feel all right. I better do that again because I kind of messed it up. Or from the top. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. Hear the children. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel all right. Saying, let's get together and feel all right. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. One heart. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all mankind just to save his own? Believe me, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. As it was in the beginning. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel all right. Let's get together and feel all right. One more thing. Let's get together to fight this holy Armageddon. One love. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. One heart. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. Sing with me. One love. Louder. One heart. Let's get together and feel all right. I'm pleading to mankind. One love, one heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel all right. Say it. Let's get together and feel all right. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel all right. Let's get together and feel all right. All right. Happy Sunday.
Woo! Woo! So let's share this affirmation together. Oh, you guys are so excited. It's all right. You can play quietly. Let's share this affirmation together. As Spirit loves, I love. As Spirit loves, I love. So it is. Have a great day.